Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
How are we all doing? KB, what do we got? Do we got something spooky going on there? Is that what you got going on?
Yeah, getting in the
Yeah,
spirit.
that's
Actually,
fun.
I did it yesterday, and I don't know how to remove it from my phone. So that's what I got now.
I love it. I love it. Who wants to get us started with something good going in their world? Keely.
So last night my kids had their football playoffs and my son Anderson got the sportsmanship award for the league. So I was really happy about that and super proud of him. So
Oh my God. That is
yeah, like to
awesome.
me, like more than anything, that's what it's about, is having good sportsmanship. So I was very proud of him.
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
is awesome. Well, thanks for getting us started on that note. Let's get into some real estate. Who's got something going good, going bad, going sideways? What do you got going on for deals out there? Doesn't have to be deal related either, guys. Maybe you've got a CRM question, you got a marketing question, you got some sort of a prospecting question, a script you're struggling with for objection handling. What do we got? Steve. You're muted if you're trying to go, buddy.
Hit the wrong button. Sorry about that.
Right.
So I took a Zillow course yesterday on the financing. And one thing they brought up obviously was the Zillow, home loans and all that. So when we broke off into one of the breakout rooms, this guy, he's not affiliated with Zillow any more than we are. But, we are talking about the scripts and how to do the objections with, hey, I already have a pre-approval, or, I have my local lender, and how to deal with that. And, I was telling him, hey, we have Semper. I send people right to Eric. And he was like, well, you're getting the leads from there. And I know we mentioned like Zillow's giving us the leads. Like, should I be, if it's a Zillow lead, be pushing Zillow for that? Or is it okay to still go with Semper, since it is coming from Zillow? So I'm like, it felt like I was like cheating on Zillow, and it's like they are, feeding me this lead. But obviously I'm trying to,
Yeah, it's a great question. So Zillow's got a bunch of different products. One of them is where Zillow Home Loans will actually start sending us pre-approved buyers. Right. So these are loans, but that's what Zillow is trying to do with Zillow Home Loan, is they're trying to get people to go to Zillow, get pre-approved for a loan, and then turn it over to us, which would be an even higher conversion rate for a buyer. Right. And so when those things come through, absolutely, we should be promoting, Zillow Home Loans. The experiences that we've had, and I don't know, we've probably done, I had to guess 5 to 10 KBs saying, Zillow Home Loans, they've all gone smooth. Right. Are they going to be able to pull a rabbit out of a hat like Semper can do for us? I don't think so, at least not yet. So, for your regular, your own sphere, our regular leads, if it's not coming through Zillow Home Loans, then, Semper's still going to be the way. They are, significantly more supportive. The way that Zillow is rolling out also home loans is it's kind of market by market. Right. So I think there's like, I don't know, let's say 25 markets across the US where they're really pushing Zillow Home Loans. Like, you're seeing a lot more of those products come through. You've probably, for a flex team, you've probably got a dedicated rep, and that's called an enhanced market. And so right now we are not that. So Semper all the way. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's not Zillow related. I mean, even with the Zillow ones, I've been telling them about Semper. I mean, honestly, I feel like they're more accessible. Obviously, they're in-house, And like you said, they're going to be able to pull a rabbit out of the hat if we need one, versus somebody that, yeah, I can't see face to face and I'm doing everything online and through the phone.
Yeah. Look, this business is about relationships and partnerships, right? If you want to run a successful business, you're going to need great people around you. You're going to need great partners. You're going to need great service providers. Mortgage is just one of them. And as we look at what we need to do, and this will be some of the stuff that I'll talk about on the 12th for our kind of all hands, is we've got to be that real estate resource. I've thrown that word out there. I don't know that we've lived it, right? We probably live it a little bit more than most agents, most teams, most brokerages. But are we really, really living that? And the other thing that I've got a challenge for me is I need to be the absolute best real estate resource that I can be for you guys, right? I want to be that resource when you guys come to me and say, hey, do we have a resource for this? Do we have a way to solve this? Do you have an answer for this? Right? My answer has always been, hey, we've got an article for that. Well, maybe the articles need to be upgraded. Maybe I need to be doing my own training for you guys. So I want to be that too. Right. And somebody who might come to me and say, hey, you know what? Probably most likely for some of our guys that move more out in Boston, some of our guys down in Florida. Hey, I'm really looking at luxury. Dude, I don't know the first thing about luxury. I've never done luxury. Right. I mean, I think the highest house I ever sold was $600,000. We got first year agents doing $1 million deals. Right. But that can't be my excuse. That can't be my answer. My answer needs to be, hey, you know what? Let me connect you with this person that really understands luxury, right? So I need to do this same thing and I need to live this same thing. And I promise you that I will. That is my promise to you. And I think I will continue to work on making sure I have every resource possible for you guys. And that includes developing this morning call, bringing on some guests, getting some different voices, taking this thing up another level. But you guys need to build out your own resources. I created a template. We haven't shared it yet because I haven't just kind of made it all nice and pretty, but it's just a resource template. It's literally all those little, service providers with a blank for you guys to put in who's yours. So when they call up and say, hey, Steve, I need a plumber. I need a roofer. I need a cider. I need a hairdresser. I need a DJ. If you're so darn good in your market, you should have the answers to all of those things, right? And so it's your goal to build out those lists, build those relationships. So this is a great question. And this is what I mean about how these questions they can spiral and they can go in some different directions, right? You're just coming to me with a mortgage question, but it turns into a resource question. And I hope this is hitting home for you guys about how important this is. When I say we're going to get professionalized, man, you are going to be competing with other agents that have that spreadsheet filled out, that have all of those resources, that can provide those services. They're not just setting up a search and sending over some homes, right? That's the difference. Anybody have any questions on this? Sue, I think you were first.
This is different from what you were just talking about. So I showed a home. It's brand new, built this year, and the buyer asked about inspectors. He says the house was inspected by the city, each step of the way. Do I still need an inspector? And I said, well, I always suggest having the home inspected, but just bringing this to the call to see what other people feel.
Yeah, 100%. Always want to recommend inspections. I don't know raise your hand if you've been to one of these town inspections where the plumbing inspector comes in or the electrical inspector. Put your hands up, show of hands. Give me some hands. How many people have been there? All right. How thorough are those inspections?
Not
At
thorough.
all.
Not very. So, it's I've been around home improvement. I was doing home improvement before I got into selling real estate. So I am well aware of what those plumbing, gas, electrical inspections look like. And, I think that's kind of what I would communicate to my clients on new construction is, you know what? Hey, yeah, city took a look at it. If we caught an inspector on a busy day, he might have just taken a quick rip through here, and maybe didn't go as thorough as you might want. So let's get your own set of eyes on this property and have a peek, and I would tell you, even on new construction, you're going to find stuff. It's not going to be absolutely perfect. Whether that is, the contractor was trying to cut some corners, or somebody just forgot something, right? They had a checklist and a couple of things didn't get done. There's a lot of different reasons. And some of it's just, we're humans. People make mistakes. So getting a second set of eyes, I think is a really smart idea. So anybody want to talk to that? Is Meg on? Don't see Meg on. I'd love to hear what she has to say about what's going on her new construction stuff. I'm guessing most of the buyers are still doing inspections, and I'm guessing that most of them find something, right? Anybody want to talk to this specifically? Because I think Pat was next, but does anybody want to talk to new construction and home inspections? And Martin.
So sold one was about right pre-COVID, brand new construction, everything. And she was like, "Oh, we don't need to do anything because it's new construction." The nephew was like, "Just spend the $500." So I ended up doing it, and we found part of the heating system had an issue with it. They even put the filter in backwards. There was no heat in one of the rooms, and a bunch of like stupid little stuff. So definitely, I mean, just because it's like you said, just because it's new construction doesn't mean it's perfect.
Yeah, was that your own primary residence, Martin? Is that what I heard?
No.
Oh.
It was no. It was.
Oh,
No.
This is for one of your buyers.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Great share. Jeff and Linda, did you have something on new construction?
We certainly do. We cannot recommend having another inspection more highly. And one of our buyers who was thoroughly on board with that, we went through the home, and the inspector found a few little things. But before he left, he went out to the garage, and he's like, "Take a look at this. I see daylight." I mean, it was ridiculous. So, and that is, when you have an inspection like this and you have a significant issue, that's your story that you tell all the other buyers, who are hemming and hawing about doing it with new construction. And when they hear that something that significant came up, then they're like, that really is a good idea. Yeah, and anybody can use our story too, because it just really helps to bring home to these folks that, just because it's brand new construction doesn't mean that things haven't been overlooked. And so we think it's just critical. And Jeff would like to say something.
Yeah, and on top of that, keep in mind, if they find something during the inspection period, it'll be fixed before you close on it, rather than finding out, oh, there's a problem afterwards and have to get on a year waiting list to get something done.
100%.
Yeah, and just so you guys understand what Jeff is saying there, if they don't fix it prior to close, they don't get their money. So what happens on a lot of the new construction is they'll give you a year. Hey, if you find something, we'll fix it for you. Problem is, post-close, you call up that builder and say, hey, you know what? We got this daylight in the garage. Now you're on the 3 months, 6 months. I mean, they're going to fix it, right? Most likely, most of these builders will at least live up to that first year, but it ain't going to be a priority, right? Versus they're not getting their money and they're supposed to close in a week, right? They'll be out there and that'll get fixed. So it's a great point, Jeff. Thanks for sharing that one. Anybody else down in Florida? You guys are dealing with probably more new construction than we are up north. Just want to have some stories. I mean, I think the builders are expecting that there's going to be a home inspection and that there's going to be some stuff. I mean, is that not the expectation going in? Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody from Florida want to chime in other than Jeff and Linda? If you guys want to go again, since your mic is on, let's do it.
Hey,
Yes, we do. So we have really, really smart buyers who are they're having a home built from scratch, and they decided to get an independent inspector who is going to go out and inspect at every, critical point in the build. And so, and it's worth his weight in gold because he's going out there and he is checking on them as they are building this home, so that if he sees things, then they don't have to go back and, tear out walls and do all this other stuff. He's calling them out on things as they go. And we just think that that is such a brilliant approach when you're having a home built from scratch.
Well, this is a great share, right? This is a great share. So obviously, guys, we can't see if there's some electrical issues or some plumbing issues or the way they pipe something behind the walls once those walls are sealed up, right? So hiring a home inspector right off the rip, that's going to come out multiple times throughout the building process. How much extra is this costing, Jeff and Linda, compared to, your typical home inspection? Because obviously they got to make multiple trips and.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is significantly more expensive.
But if you want, we can ask Kristen and Cameron and get back to you, because we didn't ask them how much they were paying for this, but it's a really good question. And it's something that I think we can all at least then present as an option to our folks who are having a home built from scratch. And, if you're having a home built from scratch, isn't that such an important part of this investment to make sure that there's oversight and that everything is being taken care of? You have that peace of mind when you go to closing, that eyes have been on it every step of the way to ensure that everything's being done, as perfectly as possible.
Yeah. In these cases, I mean, to the point down here, this is a 12-month build on the home. It's these guys are going to go out there every critical juncture along the way to make sure. And down here, well, they've also run through a couple of hurricanes that have come through, so now the guy's going out to double check during those too. And so it's a much bigger spend. I mean, it's not a $300,000 home. So, there's in perspective what you're spending in peace of mind. It's just great to know that you're taken care of all along the way.
Yeah. Great. Angela, what do you have?
Yeah, no, totally agree with what Jeff and Linda were saying there. So I sold probably maybe 5 or 6 new construction homes since I've been in real estate. And I'd say that it's about half and half for me. I always try and push for them to have their own separate home inspection done, not just go through the builder. And also my latest one, who was hitting their 1-year anniversary, I encouraged them to get another home inspection done before their 1-year anniversary hit. So that way they can get any of those little items that came up through their first year of living in the home, get those fixed and repaired. So that's just another thing for anyone with new construction. When they hit that 1-year mark, definitely get a home inspection done about 30 days before you're about to expire.
We are just bringing it today. These are just, yeah, I mean, I obviously haven't done a lot of new construction and I am weak in my knowledge in this stuff. So this is a great share and what a great idea. Definitely jot that one down. And I don't know if KB or Lauren are on. We really need to look at our buying new construction guideline, and we need to make sure that these few things are all in there. So I can get you guys the summary of this call after, but these are some great things. I want to make sure buying new construction, our guide needs to have this stuff. So great share. Thank you, Angela. Sue.
One more question. Now, the properties don't have taxes. So is that something we can get ahead of time? Or is that only like, when does the city give you tax information on new builds?
Somebody help, because I don't know where in the process that happens. You're talking for lender needs, Sue? Like lender is trying to figure that out into the mortgage?
No, this is a cash buyer. So they're just looking at the MLS sheet and said, look, where's the taxes for this new home? There's nothing there. And I kind of said, well, because it's new, they, they don't have the taxes yet.
Gotcha.
Kind of bullshit my way through it. But.
Yeah. Yeah, fake it till you make it. Amber, what do you got?
So basically for new builds, they're not going to have taxes, I don't think, until they close, because that's going to be the closed amount. But what you can do is go through what has sold in the past, 3 months or so that are new builds, same size, same area, same everything, and see if you can get what the taxes are on those.
Anybody else have a strategy on this? That's a great share, Amber. Jeff and Linda?
Yeah, one thing you got to consider on new construction, remember it was a piece of land before, so the taxes are not going to be fully matured for a couple years usually within this. So the best you're going to be able to get is, what a single family home might have been in a surrounding area as a percent goes. But your first year taxes are going to be nominal. They're going to, they're not even going to compare to what you're probably going to be in your area until this thing fully matures, which again, we're assessed in arrears down here. So you're not going to see it for a full maturity of your taxes for probably 2 years.
Angela, did you have a comment on it?
No, I did, and it was exactly what Jeff and Linda said. I actually have
Okay.
something that was new construction, and they only own the home, I think, for 18 months, and the first year was almost just taxes on the land. Not the home. The first year it was just the land, which was, I think, was like $30,000 or something. But it was just agreeing with what Jeff said.
Okay, great. Margareta, did you have something on this?
Yeah, so from what I'm understanding on the appraisal side, what happens is when the house, if there is a loan involved, the appraisal value might be considered for taxes, but it's between the sell price versus the appraisal. But that is kind of a combination of things, because really they go through the property, they try to get into the property, the tax people from town, and try to really get an assessment on that value, because they have a different value than an appraisal would. So the bottom line is, it's like, most likely it will be a land value for a while until the tax people from town will come through it, or they might consider the appraisal value or combination of appraisal value and the sell value. That's what I've seen.
Good. Glorious.
Just a quick follow-up question on the new construction. I know somebody mentioned that you could do inspection 1 year later. So would that be, if anything comes up, how, as a buyer, how do you get to the seller in case you need to get, I don't know, what is the use of getting
Yeah.
inspection to go to the
Yeah.
seller?
Yep. So typically what's going to happen on new construction is they're going to give you a 1-year warranty on their work, right? So that's why, Angela's recommendation is prior to that 1 year expiring, if anything has failed, their warranties say, hey, we will fix it. So let's get maybe at the 11th month, let's get an inspection done, see if there's anything that fits under that warranty. Go back to the seller. Hey, look at this. I'd like to, have you come and fix this because I got a 1-year warranty on this property. Yep.
There is, and this is a good topic. There's someone who, we bought a house. I don't know how long it's lived, and he's now looking for a lawyer. He wants to sue the seller. I think he bought it new from the seller, and he found a lot of issues already for a while, and he's now deciding to go to court. So I don't know how that would unfold, but very interesting to know all these inspections are very important.
Yes. Yeah. And if you hear anything more on that, let us know, Glorious, because, I'm not aware of any new construction that doesn't do that 1 year. So if it's within that first year for that buyer, that seller should be making those repairs. Jeff and Linda. You're muted if you're trying to go.
I would like to clarify that with the 1-year warranty on new construction, you do not go back to the seller, you go to your builder. It is the builder who is telling you that they're going to give you this 1-year warranty, and that they're coming back to do a re-inspect and will take care of any issues. The sellers have nothing to do with it personally. This is a guarantee from your builder who you're buying your home from. So you go to them, not to the seller.
Good clarification there. Glarius, did you still have another question, or did your hand just lingering?
Sorry, that's lingering. If I
That's
can take it.
Okay. No worries. And Jeff and Linda, just up here, I would think a lot of times the builder is the seller. What's the scenario down in Florida where the two entities are different? How does that typically work?
Well, whatever company, whoever has built your home is the one who's standing by their product. So if it's D.R. Horton, if it's Taylor Morrison, if it's Pulte, whoever it is, they do typically a final walkthrough with you before you close on your property. So let's say I am the original buyer of this property and they do that final walkthrough. They let that buyer know, hey, round about 11 months, give us a call, go through the house, write down whatever you're seeing is an issue, and make an appointment with us. And we're going to have our general contractor or whomever come out, and that we are going to stand by our promise that we're going to fix whatever it is that is on your list. Okay, so let's say that between the time of the original purchase, then say buyer number one now decides they have to go north for some reason, they sell their home. Let's say I'm buyer two. When we get into this home, that warranty is transferable. So that appointment still stands. It doesn't matter who the owner is at the time. And now we're going to reach out not to the seller who has gone back up north to honor that, but to Taylor Morrison or D.R. Horton or whoever it is who has built the home, because they are the one who is warranting the work.
Gotcha.
So we call them, and this is a very standard practice for these builders. But the seller, the buyer number one, is completely out of the picture. They have nothing to do with it. They weren't the one who warranted the work. They're not the one who's standing by their product.
Yep, that makes total sense. Thank you for clarifying.
Sure thing.
Pat, I know you had your hand up really, really early, and we've gone in a million different directions. Did you have something that was a little bit pressing, or something on a deal that's going on? Or excuse me, is Pat still with us? I think Pat jumped off. Okay, so I'll have to try and get to Pat tomorrow. Anybody else have something pressing that they need help with today on a deal they got going? All right. Well, what a cool call. I learned a ton today. What a great discussion today. A lot of great shares. And hopefully you guys took away some nuggets and are feeling a little bit more confident about it, doing a new construction deal in your future. So thanks everybody for sharing. Have an amazing Wednesday, and we will talk to you all again tomorrow morning. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.